Welcome back to Faster and Louder. Finally putting on the coilovers today. So, after much delay, we're finally getting the BC Racing coilovers put on the Challenger. As you have seen in the previous videos, we already did the Super Track Pack springs in an attempt to lower the car a little bit, and it worked a little bit on the rear end and not so much on the front. So, I bought brand new shocks and struts along with the Super Track Pack springs, and I put a decent amount of money into it and wasn't really happy with the results. So I decided I had a little bit of extra money. I was going to go ahead and go with fully adjustable coilovers. And there are a couple other options that are actually technically cheaper than BC Racing, but it just seemed like overall BC Racing was going to be the best quality and adjustability for the money. So that's what I decided to go with. I ordered them a couple weeks ago, got them in shortly after, and just haven't had the time with work and coronavirus and
got a cough to get high,
whatever else. So finally getting to do that today. And since Ivan's going to be helping me with this like he does most things, I'm going to go get some donuts before I go over there, because gotta make sure Ivan's happy.
So you like donuts, eh?
Okay, I got donuts, so donuts are acquired. So, actually made like a little list of things I want to talk about with these coilovers while I'm heading over there to get them installed. I just kind of want to like go over why I decided to get coilovers instead of lowering springs or anything like that, because technically it would have been pretty easy for me to just get some lowering springs for the front, and I could just drop down the front and I would have been probably okay with how high the rear end is. But the one thing that I don't like about the lowering springs is they're static. It's like once you make that choice, there's really nothing else you can do about it, and there's no adjustability with it. So it's like you get that ride height and you get that stiffness, and that's what you get. Like there's really nothing else you can do with it. I want to be able to adjust like the dampening, so it's like more stiff or softer, and I also wanted to be able to get some actual like performance from it, like handling capability. So I wanted all that and the ability to make it as high or low as I wanted to. Like if I ride around on it in a little while and I realize that I'm scraping over everything, then it'll be really nice to be able to adjust it just like, a 1/10 of an inch up, and then I don't have to worry about it. So I guess, that's kind of like a mumble jumble version of why I wanted to get coilovers instead of anything else. But I feel like I kind of need to recap a little bit just going into this, because this is sort of like an introduction to the BC Racing coilovers, as well as a continuation of my quest to get this car to sit right. I just never could stand that wheel gap, and I'm really happy that I'm gonna get rid of it. This video in particular is going to be more of like an overview of the installation. I don't think that it's really super helpful to be really in depth with the process of installing it, just because it's kind of universal for the most part, like how you do coilover swaps like on most suspensions. So I feel like it's kind of redundant. This is more like specifically about these coilovers on Challengers and my experience with them. So this is mostly going to be about the installation, and then I'll probably do another video in maybe a few weeks that's going to be more of like a review, my impressions of the coilovers, how I'm liking them so far, my initial thoughts, that kind of thing. So So hopefully if anybody is doing this to their car or thinking about doing this to the car, this will help you in some way. If there's anything you want to see specifically or anything you want to know about specifically when I actually do review the coilovers, you should let me know, and that way I can focus on that a little bit more. So if you like what we're doing, you want to see more of it, please like the video, please subscribe. It means a lot to me, guys. Okay, so this is one last look with the Super Track Pack springs. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of gap on the front wheels here. The front wheels didn't really move down very much at all. There's pretty substantial gap there. The rears, however, did move down maybe about an inch or so. They're not too bad. Still wanted to go a little bit lower with the coilovers, so we're gonna do that in a second. All of them seem to be pretty much about the same height. This side seemed to be a little bit lower than the other side in the front. Still a hand gap, which is way too much, but we're gonna fix it, so no big deal. And this is one last look. This is with the wheels off. These are the stock shocks and struts with the Super Track Pack springs installed. This is the box the BC Racing coilovers came in. They were packaged quite nicely. Looking pretty good in here, looking like a snack. And here we have the coilovers installed on that side. The front wheel went down quite a bit, maybe about half as much, just doing a little quick hand check. Looks like they still might be settling a little bit. It's a little higher on that side. Make some adjustments. Moving on to the rear here. The rear's a little different, obviously. Here's dog. As you can see, there's still a little bit of gap on the front. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Just a little bit of Ivan working. Promise I don't make him do everything. But yeah, this is how the rear's a little different. You have the coil separate from the actual shock. And then I had to take the carpet out the back to put the extensions on the adjusters for stiffness. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. I think that the installation went pretty well. Sorry we didn't get like super in depth with the installation or anything. I just kind of wanted to like show what it looks like a little bit, the differences, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. I just left I can't really review it very much. Like the main things that I'm noticing right away though is the handling responsiveness. It's much more, it feels like tighter, I guess. That's probably the best way to explain it. But it feels like quicker. It's a quicker response. It feels nice. I'm really liking it already. We still have to work on the actual ride height a little bit. So we kind of like messed around with it, and we were like kind of learning how to do it while we're installing it. So we didn't really get it perfect where I want it. The rear actually looks really good. The front I think can still come down a little bit, but I'm just gonna drive around on it this week. I have something else I'm gonna be doing to the car actually next weekend, so we'll be doing some adjustments next weekend with the next project that I have in mind, so look out for that. But yeah, so far I'm digging it. Just if you want to know more about it, just stay tuned. I think maybe like a couple months would be like a good point for me to come back and talk about it a little more. I can get a little more into, like, in detail with certain things like ride quality and all that stuff.
Spectacular!
I just don't want to talk about that too soon and like give maybe the wrong impression that these are like super awesome, and maybe in 2 months I'm gonna hate them. I hope I don't, but you know, it's definitely possible. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. If you like this video and you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Guys, have a good one. Later.